Hello and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be covering how to counter passive players. Now, this video is going to be very different for each player, but I'm going to try and give some general tips so everyone can have their own ways of countering passive players. This is how I've personally learned to deal with them, and now I feel that I have about an even matchup with passive players. There is no way to specifically win every time against a passive player. If they're better than you and their playstyle is just passive, then they're going to beat you. And this is also a disclaimer. So, a passive player is still a player. It's still a valid playstyle, and if they're having fun playing that way, you should let them play that way. You can get angry because you don't like it, but don't flame passive players. Your playstyle is aggressive, I'm assuming, if you want to learn how to counter passive players. Well then, they might be angry at aggressive players, and you know, maybe everyone wants to be aggressive, but some people enjoy that passive playstyle. So that's the disclaimer. Anyway, if you learn anything, please sub, and if you don't learn anything, please sub. I'm nearing 2k, and I would appreciate all the support. So the first thing I'm going to cover is floaty players, because there are different types of passive players. But floaty is someone who generally will jump a lot, and use their options in the air to avoid your attacks. And then when you miss, like maybe down at you. So on Scythe, they might double jump, you miss an attack, and then they down at you. And then they'll go from a combo from that, and they'll just keep doing that until you eventually whiff. So a good way to counter them is if you dash jump into them, they'll double jump, most likely, right? And then if you go up with them again, they'll jump again. And now they've used all their jumps, and all they have is their dodge. So if you just stay on the floor, wait for them to dodge, and then punish them, then you can counter them very easily. So if I'm a passive player and you dash jump at me, I'll double jump and then jump again if you jump. And then if I dodge early, then you get the punish on me. And then I might try and dodge late, but then just wait for their dodge and then punish them for that dodge. But the main thing here is using your pressure and not attacking. Because to be aggressive, you don't always have to run in like an idiot. That's more of a stupid playstyle. But aggressive playstyle is putting pressure on them by getting close or threatening an option. So in this case, what I could do on Scythe, because Scythe got a pretty decent anti-air in Nair, right? Then I could double jump at them in Nair. And after I Nair, always after you play against someone who's above you, after using attack, fast fall. So fast fall as soon as you can, because the lower you are and the higher they are, the harder it's to punish. So if I Nair and then fast fall and dodge, it's going to be really difficult. But the main thing is make sure not to throw out like a sig, like a grounded sig when they're in the air, because it's not going to hit them and they're going to punish you for that very easily. So that is one way to counter a floaty player. I suggest dash jumping at them, because that will scare them. So if I'm distance, I'll dash jump, and then I'll jump again, and they'll follow them in the air, and then I'll land first, and then abuse them for having no options. And because they have no dodge, on certain weapons, you can get a crazy follow-up, and a good amount of damage. Another thing with passive players is bait out a move you know is unpunishable. Now, this, for floaty players, so if you play Lance, this is going to be very easy for you, right? Do a neutral light or a down light. I just got to find a legend with Lance. Awesome. So, if I get myself a Lance, this is just a specific one that you can do on many different weapons, but Lance is a very good example. If I throw out a down light or a neutral light, they'll try and punish it, and then I can follow up with the other one. So if I do a neutral light, I can straight away down light, and most likely they'll fall into it. Or I can neutral light and jump scare them. Neutral light, I will nair them. See, it's throwing out an attack which you know is unpunishable. Many moves have this. On Scythe, a grounded unpunishable move might just be a side light, and then you can nair them after. Or even a neutral light, and then you can neutral light dodge when they try and punish you. Or neutral light dash when they try and punish you. And many weapons have this. Quicker weapons are going to be a lot easier at this. Just throw out an attack on the floor, hopefully you try and punish, and then you wait for them to punish. This might not feel aggressive to you, but once you have them in that combo and string, then you stay with them and you don't let them float on you anymore. If I'm playing Scythe against a passive player, I'll keep them close to me and not give them the opportunity, and I'll follow them around and not give them that opportunity to get away from me and be passive. The main way to counter a passive player is to not let them play how they want to be. You want to aggress on them, but not stupidly. What you guys are probably doing is you're probably throwing out moves and getting punished by them, and then it's working for them and you're struggling against passive players. And that is difficult to change, but once you can get it down, it's not really that big of an issue. Now we've dealt with floaty players, we're going to deal with people who just backdash. So backdashers, you'll get a lot on bow sidelight, and they'll both sidelight and then they'll just dash away before you can punish them. And this is hard to counter because you get a lot of people doing this and it feels unreactable, like you can't punish. But it's as simple as doing a dash jump. Again, unless they have an amazing anti-air. Like bow, it doesn't really work because they can end light you. But on any weapon without a good anti-air, just dash jump at them. And if they do have an amazing anti-air, don't even try and punish them for it. Just try not to get hit in the first place. The reason why it's working for them is because you think you can punish them. And if you learn that you can't, then they're not going to have any success with any backdashes. Because if I backdash, I'm just giving away the stage. See, if we're both center stage and I do a sidelight, I whiff and I backdash, then the core will just move up to like here. And then after the core's moved up to there, there's nothing I can do. I just have less stage control and now less space to play passive. So that's how you deal with backdash warriors. And you'll get a lot of these on a lot of different weapons. People who just like to always backdash. Even just sit and wait for a move and just backdash. But what people forget is backdash takes a while. You can't act quite long in backdash. It's like an action. It's like a move. There's a delay. Like right now I'm pressing my light attack button the second I do it. And as you can see, I can't do it while in the backdash necessarily. I have to wait. So if someone keeps backdashing, you can punish them for it. Maybe with a dash move. Because dash is quicker than backdash. Dash, you can act straight away. Backdash, you can't. So dashing forward and doing attack, if you have a high range attack, works. And if you don't, maybe you can dash and then spot dodge at them. Now, this will cover a lot of space where you're immune. And then they might try and hit you with that attack that they're doing after a backdash. They whiff it and then you get the punish from them. So these are all general tips. You're going to have to develop a playstyle, but these will definitely aid you in how to counter passive players. So other than backdash warriors, you have people who just like to stay grounded and wait and just spot dodge. Especially on Axe, in my rank at least, what will happen is they'll wait for you to attack, spot dodge, and then do one of their quick options. Spot dodge and or end light. And then by them doing this, it works every time because you just keep attacking because you think, oh look, they're playing aggressive, they're not running away, and then you spot dodge you and end light you. Or do whatever move they can. Now this one is way easier. You can just fake a move. So if every single time you've if every single time you've done a falling Sare, right? They can't react to the Sare. No one's got the reaction time in the world to react to the second I do Sare that it lands. But they do know that every time I fall, I'm going to do a Sare because it's going to hit them. So if you just fall and don't Sare and maybe jump again and wait for their spot dodge, you can get, now they have no dodge, and so you can get a big punish on them. So and then if you do it and you wait for it, wait for the spot dodge, and then you can attack. So waiting, it'll feel like you're playing passive, and maybe you'll get called passive. But what you're doing is you're being aggressive by making them use their option. So being aggressive doesn't involve just running at them and spamming attacks. It involves pressure by pushing them. So if I was passive, I would just stay here and wait for them to come to me. An aggressive player will jump up, get in their space, and make them uncomfortable. And doing that, getting them to accidentally dodge, and then not accidentally dodge, making them anticipate an attack so they dodge it, and then just wait for it and punish them. So again, this is gonna be, so those were quite common. This is also another common passive player. The passive player who just likes to play parry. They will never attack unless you attack first. So they'll just wait and they'll wait. This is a mix of all of them. They'll just wait. They'll maybe be floaty. They'll stay on the ground, spot dodge you, but they'll wait for you to attack and then punish you when you're in the frames to attack. Now, this one is more difficult because it's weapon dependent. But often, if you do an option which isn't used much, you'll catch them. So if you recognize the pattern of them jumping, so say they jump above you all the time, and then I'm on side, I could do an option like that, and most likely they'll think I can't hit them because like Scythe doesn't have that option. But using like an attack like that can work. And if that doesn't work, make sure to just do the exact same thing except pressure them to dodge. Like the people who just stay on the floor and spot dodge and go. Pressure them to dodge. Make them think you're going to do that attack. Like, be really convincing. Like, if you've done dash jump dare the entire game on Scythe, just dash jump at them, they'll spot dodge, and then you can get them punished for it. And if they keep jumping, again, do options that people haven't heard of. Like, a dash jump reverse nair. They might have not seen that option before, and it makes it harder to punish you as well, because if you can create space before the punish, a lot of people will do static moves. Like in this move, it's easy to punish because I'm not moving anywhere. If I move a lot during my move, as you can see, I throw out an air and then I'm already like across the stage from him. I'm like, I've got this much space in between me to work. But if I were to just like jump at him and do this and miss, then there's not any room between us. So creating room is another way to counter passive play. Now, this is the bonus tip if you're here. If you're here at the end of the video. First of all, leave in the comments the most passive game you've been in and how long it's lasted. Because I know I've been in a 7.5-minute game before because I use this. But if someone's being passive, and you know they are, and you have the patience and you have some memes, just be passive as well. If they're not approaching you at all, they're staying across stage, just don't approach them, just wait. And they'll be pissed off, but you'll find it funny because you know what you're doing. So, the best way to counter passive players is all of those things if you want to be aggressive. But if you want to be passive, you have no reason to approach them. If they're not putting any pressure on you, just maybe sit in the center of the stage if they're just sitting on the other side and just wait. There's no pressure unless you're down a stock, then you have to aggress. But if you're even, that's what you have to do. It's very simple. You just do this. You just wait for them to do it. Maybe add in a couple jumps, turn around a bit. If you're risky, go for an emo. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope I have helped you deal with passive players. And you're not going to win against them all the time, remember that. And the main thing is to notate that someone might be passive, but you also might have lost because someone's better than you. I've played some really passive people, but I've acknowledged they're better than me, and I've moved on. So don't get angry. Get well if you're ill, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Later.